Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. We have a very impressive one for you today in this Tier 10 domination battle here on the Sleeping Giant map, courtesy of Henkbress here, in the Pan-American Tier 10 battleship, the Libertad. Henkbress. I want to say he's Dutch. For some reason, Henk. I'm pretty sure, isn't that like the Dutch shortened version of Hendrik, which itself is the Dutch version of the German Heinrich? You know, Henk, short for Hendrik. In the same way that Americans call Henry Hank. Hank, Henk, Henry, Heinrich, Hendrik. You can see the similarities there, can't you? Honestly, I think language is a fascinating thing. Although none of this is important. I mean, none of it matters. I just saw the name Henk and I thought, oh, I wonder if he's Dutch. But like I said, doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is the ship that Henk is sailing. The Libertad, the Pan-Asian Tier 10 battleship. This is a seriously good ship. Of course, it comes with a funny button because, well, what ships don't these days? The funny button on the Libertad is charged either by taking damage or causing damage with the main gun batteries, which does promote an aggressive playstyle, but this kind of ship actually rewards an aggressive playstyle because what happens when the funny button charges up is that it buffs the already seriously impressive secondaries. The secondaries on this ship are 9.2-inch guns. These are basically British coastal defence guns. 9.2-inch in calibre. Remember, heavy cruisers have 8-inch guns. The secondaries on this thing are larger calibre. This ship is like taking a battleship into play with a Hindenburg strapped to each side.
Reporting the position of a strategic target.
The secondaries on this thing take no prisoners. And once you've got the funny button charged up, they fire further, faster, and hit harder. I mean, they are seriously scary. And not just to destroyers. Anything is in trouble when a Libertad secondaries start focusing them. And that's just the secondaries. It's also armed with 12 16-inch guns. And, I mean, the main gun battery, they're certainly not bad. The rate of fire is on the slow side. 33-second reload, which is just slow enough to be uncomfortable without being disastrously bad. I mean, it's not a 40-second reload like you get on the Vermont. The main gun batteries are fine. They're reasonably accurate. They're not particularly quick reloading or firing, but, you know, like I said, just kind of slow enough to be uncomfortable without being disastrously bad. But there's nothing wrong with the accuracy, and at the end of the day, they're firing 16-inch armour-piercing shells. You can do big damage with the main gun batteries. One of the most surprising things about the ship, though, is its manoeuvrability. It is unrealistically manoeuvrable. I mean, seriously, this thing outturns destroyers in a way that just makes a mockery of the laws of physics. This extreme manoeuvrability does make it very, very good at dodging not just torpedoes, but also all different kinds of airstrikes, as well as long-range surface ship artillery fire. Oh, there go the secondaries, opening up at something on the other side of the map. I mean, you spec for secondaries on this thing, which, let's face it, when the secondaries on your ship are as good as this, you spec for secondaries. Heck, secondaries have a range of 13 kilometers. So that's a better firing range on his secondaries than the firing range of most destroyers in the game. And when he activates the funny button, which he should probably be able to do soon, given how he's caught that Valparaiso over there pretty flat-footed, and he activates that funny button, his secondaries are going to be firing out to a range in excess of 15 kilometers, which outranges some heavy cruisers. Speaking of the Valparaiso, oh, he's not in a good spot. Well, he was in a good spot. He was actually in a fairly good spot, tucked in against the island there, against all of the enemies in front of him. Right until the point where Henk came around the corner here. And now the Valparaiso is in an extremely tough spot. I've been there, by the way, Valparaiso in Chile. The last ship I served on was the Type 42 destroyer HMS Manchester, and it was on a Pacific deployment. And I had to fly out there from Paris to Valparaiso. That was not a fun flight. But I had to fly out there to Valparaiso to join the ship. The Valparaiso here in game, by the way, who really doesn't know where to go or what to do, back off from the island, exposes him to fire from the ships in front of him. Stay where he is. Well, yeah, this keeps happening. That is essentially sort of modernised version of HMS Vanguard, the last battleship ever built. Chile were in discussions to maybe buy it from the British. It never happened, but if they had, well, that's what it could have been like. And he's in all kinds of problems. I was a bit surprised here seeing Henk actually switching fire to the Yamaga. I thought, you're not going to finish the Valparaiso off. But he is finishing the Valparaiso off. He's focused his secondaries on him as he dumps a couple of depth charges on the enemy submarine, who's busy threatening the friendly gearing, or possibly it's the other way around. More depth charges out. Then, nice big fat juicy cruiser broadside to shoot at. Secondaries finish the Valparaiso. 16-inch armour piercing, boom, headshot, finishes off the Mets. There's the double strike. And in fact, it was actually the secondaries that finished off the Mets as well. So that's a double strike and a double close quarters expert award. And now the Amagi has just run out of friends and finds himself in the exact same situation that the Valparaiso was in, which did not end well for the Valparaiso. And that was when the Valparaiso had backup, which the Amagi mostly does not. Like an airstrike from the Tromp. Oh yes, Dutch destroyer with an airstrike. It's actually a surprisingly potent airstrike for a destroyer. Weathers the incoming fire there from the Amagi. That could have been dangerous. But yeah, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place here. Because he can either eat the air... I mean, there's nothing he can do about the airstrikes other than take them. But he definitely doesn't want to get torpedoed. That does, of course, mean risking giving this amount of broadside to an Amagi, which is also on with 16-inch guns. There's another Tromp airstrike. Good news is, he doesn't have to worry about the Amagi anymore. There's yet another close quarters expert award. And this is really bad news for the Salem. Oof, there's the Citadel. And this combination of events mean that all kinds of buffs have just triggered. You can see combat instructions completion level has been raised. Oh, hello, Trump. Oh, you really didn't want to be... Oh, dear. Beaching yourself on an island this close to a Libertad. Yeah, bye-bye. Good night, sweet prince. You're dead too. There's yet another close quarters expert award. This is really, really bad news for the Salem, because with the combat instructions level raised, this happens after you've activated, well, a bunch of things happen after you've activated the funny button twice. First, when it is used, it will only ever deplete down to 20%, so you can effectively charge it up faster. Subsequently, to the first 2 times you use it, it also reduces the reload of the main gun batteries and speeds up the ship. And the ship already has a 30-knot top speed. So all kinds of good things have just happened. He doesn't have that 33-second reload on the main gun batteries now anymore either. And he's almost charged up the funny button again, which is going to be extremely bad news for anything caught within 15.1 kilometers of this ship, because with the funny button active, that's the range of the 9.2-inch secondaries. These are 234mm secondaries. I mean, they are just crazy good. Oh, hang on a second. I think I might need to correct myself. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I believe some of the buffs associated with this ship, certainly some of the buffs that Henk is currently enjoying, maybe as a result of having the special Pan-American, I think Brazilian commander. Like, for example, having the combat instruction completion level never reset below 20% after you've used it twice. I think that may be a perk associated with the captain. But you absolutely, if you have him, should be using him on this ship, because the synergy between the perks of the ship and the perks of the captain that goes with it are just too good to not have. He's a really, really good captain. He also works extremely well in combination with a funny button on the Argentine Tier 10, I think, destroyer, the La Pampa. Unfortunately for Henk here, you'll notice that the combat instruction is falling off, because if you don't keep hitting enemy ships with the main gun batteries or getting shot at by yourself, it will start to deplete. He's charging it back up again, though. He's got some shots out. Secondary hits don't count, by the way. It has to be main gun batteries. Although getting shot at also works. Again, you know, the ship does encourage an aggressive playstyle. I do like the combination of factors and perks associated with the Libertad that do encourage an aggressive playstyle in a battleship, which is the way it should be. I mean, the battleships should be the ones out there, if not necessarily on the front line, you know, maybe with the destroyers out in a stealth screen ahead of them, but the battleships should be the ones taking the lead and tanking for the team. I mean, sure, not all battleships are actually designed that way, and it would be kind of boring if they were. There are some battleships, notably the battle cruisers, that are very good at dishing it out, but they're not so good at taking it, and you really can kind of understand if they do not take the lead. But the Libertad, while it's not the toughest ship in the game, it's tough enough, and it can absolutely dish it out. Speaking of which, the Bourgogne could be about to lose an awful lot of health here. Actually, it's not that bad. Yeah, he hasn't gotten obliterated. I mean, he's suffering, he's hurting. Oh, Henk just took a big old hit there from the Duncan. Duncan, of course, British battle cruiser. The thing is, they're all within range of his secondaries. So Henk turning in because, I mean, it is a battle cruiser. Actually, I don't think he has to worry about the Duncan anymore. The Duncan got that first salvo up and then it tucked right in against the island. Obviously didn't want to get shot back at. But that close to the island, it can't continue firing. Which means Henk pretty much has the Bourgogne, well, not necessarily to himself here. And the Bourgogne, I think, has just realised the threat and is turning in. But the secondaries are working him over. There's the fires. He's getting shot at. Oh, he's in a three-way crossfire here. Okay, he's taken down, and against the secondaries that did it, he's taken down the Bourgogne. He then focuses the secondaries on the Duncan. Squeezes off a couple of shots with the front turrets, trying to finish him off. Now he's getting shot at by the Belfast as well. And of course, let's not forget, he's also within secondary gun battery range of a Massachusetts. He's got a fire going on the Belfast. He's sunk the Belfast again with the secondaries. And now, well, with the Duncan sheltering behind the island over there, he's no longer an immediate threat. And he's now in a secondary duel with the Massachusetts. Pretty much the OG secondary battleship. Or he will be in a second, because his secondaries actually outrange those of the Massachusetts. He's taken the cap, though, right before the Massachusetts was able to land a hit. Now, the Massachusetts is also armed with 16-inch guns. It also has fearsome secondaries. They're not quite as good as the secondaries on the Libertad, though. The Massachusetts has a lot of destroyer caliber 5-inch or 127mm guns. It's essentially covered in Fletcher gun turrets. However, note that the Massachusetts started this fight on full health, and Henk did not. Now, admittedly, the Massachusetts over there is also getting hosed down by the Groningen, which definitely isn't nothing, but he had the extreme misfortune, before he could even get his own secondaries in range, to be getting hosed down by Henk's secondaries with the funny button active. And there's yet another Close Quarters Expert Award. The main gun batteries are all loaded, and it's at this moment where the Duncan makes the extremely unfortunate decision to come out. Possibly thinking he was going to get a torpedo away. Yeah, newsflash, he wasn't. And so Henk claims his 9th kill of the battle at the expense of the Duncan, and his first kill that wasn't achieved with the secondaries. That's 8 Close Quarters Expert Awards in a 9-kill battle, with 340,000 damage done and 3.25k base experience. An absolutely stonking game for Henk Bress in the Tier 10 Pan-American battleship, the Libertad. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.